the last live I had here, I didn't know that my microphone is not on me, so I was not able to get the audio for the tutorial. So I want to do everything all over again, although I've already cut everything, but I'll be explaining what I've done here so that everything will be clear to all of us. I'm very, very sorry for that. I didn't know that the audio was not, functioning. My microphone was not with me. I forgot to put it on when I started the tutorial. So let's start all over again. All right. Hope you can hear me now. I folded my fabric. I got 3 yards of fabric. All right. Assuming this is 3 yards of fabric, you will get 3.5 yards, rather 3.5 yards of my fabric. So I folded it like this. This is 3.5 yards. Assuming this is 3.5 yards. So assuming this is 3.5 yards. So we fold it into 2 like this. This is the yardage, 3.5. All right. You fold it into 2. So this is 3.5. You fold 3.5 into 2 like this. Yeah. So after folding into 2, then you also fold. After folding into 2 like this, then you fold again into 2 like this, such that the selvage will be towards this side. All right. So and then you get your length, the length of the gown you are working with. That's what I have here. So then the next thing I did was to mark my neckline. I used 4 inches for the neck width. All right. For the neck width of both front and back, I used 4 inches. So, and after that, I came down here by 7 inches. I came down by 7 inches. Then I connected it with a straight line using my ruler. All right. Using my ruler. I hope you are getting it. I'm still going to do a paper illustration so that you can understand very well. So I measure 4 inches. After folding, now I have my fabric like this. I measure 4 inches at the neckline, neck width. Then I measure 7 inches from the top to this place for the front neckline. Then I connected it with my straight ruler, and then I cut it out. You understand? I connected it. Then for the back, I measure 12 inches from the top. All right. I measure 12 inches from the top. Let's say this is it. I want us to get this thing very well. So this is the starting point. I want to go over it again so that you can understand, because I've already cut it. I want to explain again. So from here to here, I measure 4 inches. Then for the front, I measure 7 inches. I connected it with a straight line. Then for the back, from the top, I measure 12 inches. All right. Then I connected it to the 4-inch neck width here. That's how I got this one. All right. Then the next thing, I measure from the nape of the neck, to where the sleeve is, which is 20 inches. I measured it here. All right. After, you can also use your shoulder to shoulder width. If your shoulder to shoulder width is 15 inches, you just divide it by 2. That is 7.5. All right. 7.5. You mark 7.5. Then you add your sleeve length. So the sleeve length will be 13 inches. I use 13 inches sleeve length. So it's still the same thing as using the nape of the neck from the center of your back neckline to where the sleeve is. It's still the same thing. So after marking it from here to here is 20 inches. Then I came down from here to here by 12 inches. That is the sleeve opening. So I came down by 12 inches. After coming down by 12 inches, I roll a straight line and make sure it's 12 inches straight like this. Then, I measure uh, 20 here. I will minus 1 from 20 and mark it here. That will be 19. The reason why I'm doing that is because I want this place to be slightly slant. I want this place slanted like this. So after marking 19 here, and I will now connect it from here to here. So it will give me this slant for the sleeve opening. That will make the sleeve to hang very well when we are wearing the kaftan. Alright. Then after that, the next thing I did, alright, was to mark the gown length, the length of the gown. The length of the gown I am working with is 58 inches. So I mark 58 inches plus 2 inches M allowance, that is 16 inches. Alright. So from here to here, my gown length, that is 58 inches. 58 inches plus 2 inches, the hem allowance, that is 60 inches. That's what I marked. Then after that, I marked this. I used this line for the sleeve opening here to mark my hip divided by 4. The hip is 48. The hip of the client I'm working with is 48. So I got my 48 here like this. Divide 48 into 2 and into 2 again. That gives 4. Then that gives 12 inches. So you mark 12 inches like this, and you had the allowance, the east allowance of 3 inches. You could add 2.5. You could add 3 inches. You could add 4 inches. So I'm adding 3 inches for my east allowance because it's bubu that we are cutting. It's a kaftan bubu. So I added 3 inches to this place. Then I added 1 inch for sewing allowance. That's the allowance I'll be using to sew, to stitch together. So I marked here. So everything all together here, we have 16 1/4. So that's the amount I'm going to mark throughout to the length of the gown. So I marked 16 and we have 16 1/4, rather 16 1/4 throughout, and I connected it straight. So I got this straight line. Then next, to get the curve of this place, because normally it will be like this. So this place must not be angled like this. So we need to curve it. So I marked 1 inch out. 1 inch. I marked it out. Then I use it to get the curve of this area. Then to get this pocket, I measured 18 inches. 18 inches from the top. So I measure 18 inches, and I also measure 7 for the pocket opening. 7 inch for the pocket opening. And then I just shape it like this so that when you put hand like this, to be like this. So that's how I shape it in. So, and I got the pockets. You could cut this one out like this and cut another fabric if your fabric is not enough, or if you don't like this one, you could cut another one out and attach it. But this is how I want to make this kaftan. All right. And after that, the next thing, I went ahead to cut from the I went ahead to cut the front neckline. I didn't cut the back neckline. Okay, I cut the front neckline. This front neckline is not as wide as it's not as long as the back neckline. The front neckline is shorter than the back neckline, so we have to cut the front neckline first. So I cut this place, cut this with my scissors, cut like this, cut until I'm done cutting. And after that, I open Before I open, I notch this place. I notch the slit. Now let me explain something here. This gown has a slit, so I made from the original length of the gown. This is the original length of the gown, so I measure up 17 inches for the slit. So that is what I notch here. 17 inches from this place to this place, that is the slit. So I notch it, then I cut. So after cutting, what I did was to open the fabric, to open it like this, to open the fabric. And what I did was to open the fabric like this. So I open it so that I'll be able to cut my facing. Alright, I open it up like this to cut out my facing. So the facing I cut is the facing. And I had already done everything. I didn't know that the voice was not shown, was not bringing out the voice. So I just cut a fabric of 28 inches by 9 inches. You could cut 29 inches by 10 inches if you like, but it's still the same thing. So I cut 28 inches fabric, strip of fabric by 28 by 9 inches, and I insert it inside. I put it inside like this, inside the fabric, to cut out the facing. So after inserting it, I cut out the facing like this. Then for the strap, the thing we are going to do is to mark 1.5 inch. From this is the shoulder point, so mark 1.5 inch here. From here to here is 2.5. The next one 2.5. That's the measurement I use, 2.5. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 points that will be attaching our strip. Then to get the length, I'm supposed to get it before we unfold it, before we remove it, and even before we cut, because after marking here, if you have something like this, we have to measure the length. After marking, we have to, before we cut the neckline out, so we measure whatever we have here. Here I think I got 3.5. Where is that paper? So I got 3.5 for the first one. 3.5 multiplied by 2, which is 7, plus 1 inch seam allowance that we use to attach it on both sides. So we have 8. So we are cutting for the first strap, we are cutting 8 inches by 3 inches, and that is what I cut out here. So 8 inches by 3 inches, this is 3 inches. By the time you fold it, it will be 1.5. So then for the second one, we measure it. I measured it. You check the tutorial, you see how I measured it. I measured it from here to this place. It gave me 3/3, no, 2/3, and 2/3. So 2/3 multiplied by 2, it will give us 5.5. All right, so 5.5 plus 1 inch, that is 6.5. That is what I used to cut the second strap. So 6.5 by the same 3 inches, which will be 1.5 unfold. Then the third one, measured it 1/7/8, not up to 2. Multiply by 2, it gave us 3/3. 3/3 plus 1, that gave us 4/3. So this is 4/3. Then the width 3 inches. By the time we fold it, will be 1.5. So, and likewise the last one, this last one gave us 1 inch. So 1 times 2, that's 2, plus 1, that's 3. So here we have 3 inches. So 3 by 3 inches. By the time we fold it, we are just going to go to our sewing machine and stitch this part. Go to our sewing machine and stitch like this. Then we turn it inside out and attach it to our fabric. Then one thing I still want to say about this facing, after cutting it out like this, before you cut it out, you have to notch this part on the facing too. Then after cutting it, we are going to measure 4 inches for the facing width. So from here to here, 4 inches for the facing width. Measure 4 inches, 4 inches, 4 inches, 4 inches, until you are able to get to the end. Then you cut it with your scissors. So that forms our facing for the star. So we go ahead and sew this gown up. We are done with the cutting. Thank you very much.